Hi, this is Sarah from SarahYip.com, Facebook The Numbers Queen, and Instagram SarahYip1111, here for a very short weekly aloha and tune in. Thanks everyone who will be joining us live and who will be watching the replay. We hugely appreciate all of your support. So I am doing a different time today. Didn't go quite as planned. Our little baby Ziggy, he turns 3 months today, which is very exciting. I've just posted super cute photo of him on social media. When he cries, he jams our phones and computers. So some of you may or may not know that actually people who are very clear can easily affect and impact technology. Those who don't doubt themselves, they basically influence all of those around them, including electronics. I personally, when I'm rushing, can jam GPSs. They will shut down, they will direct me to the nearest park in an obvious sign that I need to chill. I remember once I got directed to the ocean. Obviously needed some grounding in the water. So the reason I'm mentioning that, it is a theme that's already occurring. We have a number of retrogrades in astrology happening. We've got Mercury retrograde next weekend onwards. I personally quite enjoy this season because essentially the tables turn. Those who are skeptics often get a bit of comeuppance during the few weeks that is Mercury retrograde, because basically if you respect spirit, the natural world, sensitive people, you have a pretty jolly good time. There's a few twists and turns, but overall a lot of breakthroughs. Whereas if you really do doubt and you place all your faith in machinery, technology and rules, it can break your brain. So there's also some eclipses happening, but just in general, yeah, it's really quite a jumpy energy. Let me know in comments if you've been feeling that too. It'd be great if you want to say hello. So what else? Let's talk about a couple of other things. So we know that it is a 1 energy month in May, because 2021 is a 5 universal year. May is the 5th month. 5 plus 5 is 1. And in those number 1 months, often we are invited to start again in an area where we might have felt that we knew everything, or that it was a lost cause, something where we'd given up. And I'd love to hear in comments, where you've had that happen. I've certainly noticed it in my own life, but it's a really important doorway to walk through. It's actually the only number 1 energy month this year, and actually all the life path ones and those with lots of ones in their date of birth are feeling that opportunity. So I'm one of those people. Pun unintended. So I personally got my hair dyed. It sounds so superficial, but I've thought about it for 3 years. And because I'm in the new age industry, I'm an environmentalist, I'm a scientist, I guess I kept putting it off because I thought of the chemicals and I thought there's better ways to spend my money and I should just accept that I am getting older. But it's interesting because in the last few weeks, I realized how much energy I was using to suppress myself. And that's a type of violence, because a part of me just wanted to look in the mirror and not think about some of the traumas I've been through and just have a little bit of a reprieve from that. And I went quite grey after Ziggy's birth, which some of you might know is quite dramatic. You can read the first part of that on my blog at SarahYip.com. So for me, it was a real gift to get my hair done, even just to take that hour or two out of a really crazy schedule. And that's where I realized there's these stages to spiritual awakening. And when you're in that first stage, it can be quite brittle, and people can be quite stiff with the way that they, I guess, try to be new age or, like I said, spiritual or awake, and they tend to try to impose their views on others. They still see things as very good or bad. But actually what I've learned after spending quite some time in the industry, a lot of it comes down to the intention. So for me, dyeing my hair was very much an act of self-care, and it meant something to me personally because it's sort of like a finish line after having had all the babies that we're planning to have. Whereas, for example, if you dyed your hair because you thought you were really ugly, or because someone told you that they would leave you, you know, because your hair was the wrong color, that's a completely different energy to put in. And the same thing goes with really every action we're putting out into the world. A big place I'm seeing that happen is food. So you see a lot of fussy babies, fussy toddlers, fussy adults really, and they can't easily eat food unless there's a little bit of joy involved. So one of our children, Charlie, he's a 3. He's extremely sensitive. He has that soft skin, psychic or silk skin. I find that, you know, singing to him, making little games around his food is really important. Otherwise, he just closes down. In his numerology, he has the line of non-conformity, like me and Chris, which is they have no 4, 5, 6 in the middle of the grid. And, you know, every child is different, but using numerology, I've realized there's no point forcing Charlie. Charlie is very much his own person. And it applies to things like learning. Some children cannot learn in certain environments. My background is environmental education. A lot of people who show, for example, hyperactive traits, they do actually quite well in outdoor classrooms. They feel that they can be, that they're getting plenty of energy flow, that they are free and they're not in, I guess, like a cell of some kind. So it's just a theme I'm noticing in May. Like I said, it's a lot of fresh starts, going back to basics, but looking at it from a different point of view and not getting sucked into this one size fits all phenomenon. If you see 1111, you're actually here to dissolve that and see that really every person has something valid to offer, something beautiful to offer. So the last story I want to share before we do a little surprise for tonight is a story about Ziggy. So as I mentioned, he's turning 3 months today. Thanks everyone for your support, especially my Patreons. I actually launched my Patreon group the week I conceived Ziggy. That's happened with all our children. They bring their own dollars and resources. Anyway, so this is the story of me taking Ziggy to the op shop the other day. So an op shop in Australia is like a charity shop where you get secondhand things. I really like them because you're supporting the community. It's full of volunteers who are very passionate, and it's good for, you know, recycling and the environment. So I took Ziggy to an op shop, and I swear it was like there was suction. I walked in the front door, and it's a big shop, and I just felt this suction that I had to go right to the back of the store, to a particular place. I even heard Ziggy basically say, whether you know, in my third eye, in my head, because I'm clairaudient, you need to take me over there. And I tried to ignore it. It didn't make logical sense because I had the other kids, busy store. It just felt very difficult. But I've learned over the years not to ignore these promptings or that inner voice. So I've gone to the back of the store, and there's this beautiful lady. I swear she was like glowing. She had this halo of lovely pale blonde hair. She was an older lady. Her name was Jill. And she was standing there as if she was waiting for us. So I introduced myself, she introduced herself. I could tell that she really had a connection with Ziggy. And I just said, look, do you want to give him a cuddle? She was so surprised. She couldn't believe I would trust her. And I said, look, I'm a third-time mum. I've got spares. That's not what I said. I said, I'm a third-time mum. I trust myself. I read people, you know, I've sussed you out. So she had some lovely cuddles, and she got a bit misty. She got quite misty-eyed. She actually went like this. It was so beautiful. And she was telling me how her grandkids are overseas and she can't cuddle them, even though they're babies. And it made me really sad, actually. Anyway, so she said that she would never, ever forget what I had done. And that's the moral for today is, you know, what more of your encounters in life were that profound and that vulnerable and that loving? What if that meeting with yourself in the mirror in the morning was that open? The meeting with your partner, your kids. I mean, she was like this with me, a stranger. I was so touched. So yeah, we left, and I don't think I'll ever forget Jill. She honestly said she will never ever forget that I did that, or that moment in her life, and I believe her. And that's what I want to share with you, is that one person can remind you how easy it is to be kind and to be generous and to be thoughtful. Sometimes it's going to be you, sometimes it's those around you. And the way that I had that experience was by following that voice that said, go to the back of the store, there's someone waiting to meet you in Ziggy. Now, all of you on the call and who'll be watching this, you have the same voice. Intuition comes pre-installed with humans. It is a survival instinct. It is a parent's love. It has kept humans alive for millions, thousands of years. So it is the most natural thing in the world. And not only does it connect you with those who can really keep you on your purpose, it will protect you. So using those instincts as often as you can, it actually keeps you safer from bullies, and it helps you pick up sooner if you're being exploited or even abused. So it's really important to practice following those prompts, including things like seeing 1111 and repeating numbers. So I'm about to go because we're going to go see a movie called Birth Time very soon. Now, I know I've got a few people on the call, and I don't normally do this, but it's 3 months since we had Ziggy. So if you are a parent with a child and you're willing to share your date of birth and your child's date of birth, and I'm aware not everyone will be comfortable with that, I'm happy to do a little quick overview of your compatibility just to show people, I guess, how neat numerology is. And if I don't get any offers, I guess I'll be doing my own. Anyway, thanks to those who said hi. So I'll just give you a minute and see who's come on board. I'm actually thinking there must be a lag with comments. Oh, Ziggy's zapping the Facebook again, which would be quite possible. Let me just try one more time to reset. Okay, I've got someone. Who have I got? I've got Natalie. Thanks, Natalie. All right, well, let me just get my pen and paper out. So just give me 1 sec, Natalie, and I'm just going to have a look at those 2 dates of birth you've given me. Thanks so much for this too. Very grateful. Okay, let's see. 27619. All right, so that's yours, and let's look at your child's. Oh yeah, okay, let's see what life path you're on. So I'm just going to add some things up, so it just takes me a minute. I'll get you to just breathe, Natalie, because I just need you to breathe. So if you can get your feet on the ground and just let's breathe. Just makes it easier for me to do this. Okay, that's better. I can feel the difference. Okay, so you're number 4. Let's see what type of 4. 404 or 224. Okay, and your child, I think your child is an 8. Just 1 sec. Okay, all right, so let me just go back to the camera. All right, so Natalie, your date of birth gives you a 4 life paths, and it's either a 40 or a 22. You could be a hybrid. So the way you'll know which one is the stronger energy is to look through your life at what happened. So as a child, there'll be some turning points at 4 usually. As an adult, probably at 22. So that's around 2000, 2001. And then also, so 40, so 2018, 2019. And they might both be equally important, but those are the life path turning points. Natalie, I can see you've got a 789 in your date of birth. So I've got that too, and it's a line of intuition and spiritual activity. So all the numbers are chakras. So 7, 8, 9, the higher chakras, the invisible ones, tends to suggest you actually hold a lot of power and spiritual authority. And you won't know you have that unless you learn meditation, Reiki, something which is a bit more esoteric, even things like numerology, because otherwise it will probably stay up there and it could actually just manifest as a very busy head. But with that as well, you would do well with plenty of nature time, eating outside, a more natural diet, things like that. And some of that's from Max Copper's book. And there's also David Phillips who writes on these grids. And I also have a webinar, Why Your Child Chose You, which talks about these lines I'm mentioning. Now, Natalie, because you have the double sevens in your chart, that double crown chakra, this can be someone who is actually a really good teacher and not always a good student, which can be quite funny, isn't it? And what I mean by that is you need to find out for yourself. You're not someone who's easily convinced. It takes a lot of effort actually for people to get through to you, but once they're in, and there's that beautiful, relationship for life. I also note in your chart you've got the 147, which is very practical, very grounded. I'll see it when I believe it. So your numbers would actually be quite good for someone who is self-made, where you have to kind of lift yourself up by your bootstraps. And as a result, you'd be quite inspiring to others. You'd be able to show them you can kind of come from nothing and make something of yourself. Now let's look at your child's numbers. Okay, so your child is a 17/8, so they will know their purpose much faster than you in a way. They'll have a lot of turning points at 8, which was quite recently, and at 17. Now 4s and 8s often go together, so it's not surprising you have chosen each other. Obviously 8 is 4 times 2. Where the 4th chakra is about healing the heart and often learning unconditional love for the self and others, 8 is different. 8 is a lot of healing around the human race, and actually to do with the systems of power in society, karma, justice. It's quite a big picture life path. So this is a child who probably from a young age can see what's going on and knows when things are fair or not fair. They've got the 111, so this month I mentioned May. This is a big time for those with lots of ones. They can be feeling very nervous, not sleeping so well and needing to jump around. I personally wake up in the morning and do a really good dance off with my kids, and you might find your child also benefits from plenty of free movement. So a lot of the times people say things like, oh, you should dance, but there's many types of dancing. There's ones where you're trying to look good. There's ones where you're trying to be perfect. I'm talking about ones where you can jiggle, you can shake, you can vocalize, more naturalistic, and that can also help people to release when they've been picking up too much energy. Look, I need to go to this movie now. As I mentioned, I just wanted to do one. If you enjoyed what I was doing, feel free to check out my site, sarahayip.com. Go to Find Your Life Path. There's a calculator there. This is all very simple to learn. I've even got like a list of books you can look at. You can look at my site. But really what makes the difference is the person behind it. Because honestly, like a lot of people can speak English, but some people speak it from a place of empowerment, and some people speak it from a place of oppression. So there's, as much as numerology is really super easy to learn, the work on yourself to deliver it in a way that's really objective, it definitely takes lifetimes. Anyway, look, just thanks everyone for volunteering. I hope to have a chance to go through your comments in the next day, as long as Ziggy doesn't freeze my computer again. And I'll have a look at the life paths. You can, like I said, just look up my site. Many people find that the greatest gift of numerology is instant forgiveness and understanding. When you see things like your parent has the same life path as you, or everyone in your family is a 9, things like that, there's a part of you, which is the soul part of you, that you just kind of reset and you click in and you stop questioning and you just accept them how they are, and all of a sudden you have all this energy and all this love that pours forwards. I'll give you one example before I go. So my dad's life path is a 32/5. That's the world traveler, the freedom fighter, the rebel. They're having a really big year. And it actually took many years before I even thought about what happened to my dad at 32. What happened to my dad at 32 is I was born. Now, I realized that after teaching a class at Perfect Potion, somebody asked me, and I realized I'd never looked at it. Obviously, I wasn't ready to look at that. And I just started crying in front of everyone because it validated for me that my dad and I have a reason to be together and that everything has happened really, really perfectly in its own special way. So I need to go to see this movie Birth Time. If you've enjoyed tonight's live, please write a comment. I'd love to know that you are watching those things. Have a look at my site, sarahayip.com, just to let you know I have actually finally reopened after 4 or 5 months. We opened some 360-degree reading spots. Now that's very rare. Essentially, it's where two psychics read for you at the same time. For firstly me, then Chris, then both of us. Very few psychics offer it, probably because very few psychics are married. And other things, like it's a pretty big ask, but we enjoy it. It's really difficult and really cool. So we pretty much booked out straight away. Now our next spots, we've got one left in July and we've got some in August. If you are interested, feel free to hop in. We do pretty much book up super quick because we only work very minimally with such young children. Anyway, I'll be opening my one-on-ones again soon, but I'm just looking at the right format. I'm aware that I've got quite a lot of people wanting that, so thanks for your patience, and I'm just making sure that it's going to suit everyone as much as it can, of course. Now I'll just read out the feedback from Natalie before I go. So Natalie has said, my son is ADHD and ASD. He uses a gym ball in the morning and at night for energy release. That's awesome. I love fit balls and gym balls. I love hanging over them upside down. Often when you're a really highly sensitive person, there's just too much input. So I even have things like, you might have heard, it's aerial yoga, you know, have those slings, and I just love hanging upside down like a bat. Anyway, Natalie's been practicing meditation. She's been thinking of taking up Reiki. Yeah, look, all those things, Natalie, will help you to keep yourself centered and calm in a world that is very happy to tell you what to do. And when you've got double sevens, this is someone you don't like idiots, you don't like wasting time. It's more efficient to know self-healing practices. It is worth learning. It's a lifelong gift. So thanks everyone, and lots of love to all of you. Hope you understand it's just a quick live tonight, but I'll be back soon and love you all. So Sarah from sarahayip.com, Facebook, the Numbers Queen, Instagram, sarahayip1111 with a very short, very quick live, and I hope that something from tonight has touched your heart and that you will go into this week with some new eyes. Okay, so 1111 peace signs to all of you, and good night. See you next time.